Yo, what up, y'all? It's your boy Rob coming back at you once again with another live stream. So before we get started, you already know what to do. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice. Smash the like button, share this video out to all of your followers, and let's get it cracking. All right. So shout out to everybody who's in the room. I appreciate each and every one of y'all being here. If you guys can hear me okay, please give me a thumbs up or a radiation emoji in the chat. If you guys cannot hear me or something looks weird on the screen, please give me a thumbs down or an angry face, and I will try to troubleshoot. All right. So shout out to everybody who's in here. I'm going to acknowledge everyone who is in the building early. We got Patricia Slade in the house, B1. We got Carlton Way in the building. We got Brooklyn Queen 125. Shout out to you. We got Sybil in the house. We got Black Spider up in here. We got Ty Valentine. We got Vovo 2 Love. We got Lloyd Sky 9 up in here. My man Lehman Lucas. Shout out to you, bro. We got Dora Malahi. I hope I said that correctly. B1. We got Black Spider in the house. And we got my man David Brown. All right. So let's get into it. All right. So I got proof that the Democrats are terrified of the 2024 election. And the reason why I feel that this is proof is because you've never seen tactics like this done before so openly, right? We know that the government has been doing dirty stuff behind the scenes and some of it in front of your face for a very long time, right? But what we got going on is the Democrats just blatantly doing it. And to me, this is how a wounded animal responds when they get hurt and they don't know how they're going to fix whatever wound it is that they got. Shout out to my man Extreme X. What's good with it, bro? And shout out to Denise. What's good with you, Denise? So I want to ask you guys this question. Is there anyone that can name all of the states that are trying to get Trump off of the ballot? Because believe it or not, Colorado was successful in getting Trump off of the ballot, but there are other states that are actively pursuing doing that right now. And that's what we're going to talk about. When have you ever seen them so scared that they're trying to get somebody removed from the ballot because they're worried about the results? They know that they've been doing a horrible job. They know that they've been failing in every way. They know that their Democrat base of voters, which is mainly black people, are out of there. Nobody's rocking with them anymore. And now they feeling closed in and claustrophobic. You know what I'm saying? Yep. Shout out to Denise. That's the one that we're going to talk about right now. Michigan. Michigan was trying to get him off, but he's still on there. Michigan Supreme Court rejects bid to take Trump off a primary ballot. So we're going to take a quick look at this little clip that they put up, and then we're going to get into this a little bit more.
Now for the Decision Desk 2024 Daily Update, where we're bringing you the latest news from the campaign trail. I want to start in battleground Michigan, where Trump, according to the Decision Desk 2024 polling averages, is leading Biden by a 46 to 39.1% margin.
That's huge. That margin, in most cases, is not really that big. Trump got all them indictments against him, everybody after him, and he's still beating Joe Biden easily. And this is on the poll in Michigan. This is in Michigan. So what do y'all think it looks like elsewhere? I got to agree. Landslide. Biden should be scared. Facts. If you guys agree with Ty, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down. There is nothing that these bootlicks, Al Sharpton and all them, Roland Martin, it's nothing that they can do to fix this. It's done. It's a wrap. If they were smart, they would get the life raft and hop off the ship. But they're not smart. So we know they're not about to do that.
An attempt to remove Trump from the ballot under the insurrectionist clause in the Constitution. Now, obviously, this effort is a stark contrast from the Colorado Supreme Court ruling, which earlier this month said that Trump couldn't run on the state's ballot because of his role in the January 6th attack on the Capitol. Trump World tells me that they will fight that Colorado decision all the way to the Supreme Court. And meanwhile, in Iowa, where Trump also remains the dominant frontrunner, long-shot candidate Vivek Ramaswamy reportedly has pulled his funding for TV ads, and now Trump says that he's predicting that Vivek will end up endorsing him. That's not exactly the kind of flex you want to make in the final sprint to the caucus, where Vivek is still polling in single digits. And then there's also this.
Can we take a moment to just laugh at Vivek Ramaswamy real quick? Can we just take a moment to just laugh? You know what I'm saying? In fact, you know, extra Biden got those extra right now. If you've got an elderly relative, what I would advise you to do is go get you a membership at Sam's Club or go get you a membership at Costco. Because if you go to all the little late night spots, like if you go to Walgreens, if you got a CVS that's 24 hours or something like that by you, all of the places that sell the extra absorbent geriatric Depends, they are all gone. They've emergently shipped them to the White House for Joe Biden because ever since these poll numbers came out, he been shitting himself. They done gave him all kind of Imodium. You know what I'm saying? They done gassed him up, gave him all kind of perks and everything to try to get him to stop, but it just will not stop. So they have a large problem there at the White House, which is why if you run out now and you got to get you some Depends or something like that, ain't none. Biden got them all. They done rerouted them all to the White House because y'all know that in these kind of situations, FEMA makes the decisions, right? And so the disaster planning, you know what I'm saying, Federal Emergency Management found out about all them damn emergencies that Joe Biden them had in his pants after finding out about these poll numbers. And they said, this is a state of emergency. We declaring a national emergency. We're putting in an executive order, and executive order 1227-2023 005-1 is to immediately in the closest vicinity evacuate all of the geriatric Depends to the White House. You know what I'm saying? So loose it's water, bro. It's spraying. Super soaker. He got a rear facing super soaker. Oh man, they not letting him eat there at the White House. It's a wrap. They're gonna have to get him one of those southern border porta potties. You know what I'm saying? And have him go outside because they're gonna shut down all operations. He sit up there stinking up the White House like that. Shout out to Tone. What's good with it, bro?
Earlier today, Decision Desk HQ, specifically looking at favorability ratings for President Biden and Donald Trump. This might surprise some of you. Trump actually has a higher favorability rating amongst all voters than Biden does.
Why would that surprise anybody? Why would that surprise anybody? You could be a damn teddy bear and have a better polling than Joe Biden. All you got to be is Joe Biden, and automatically the person that's running against you will win. Shout out to Steve Al-Halamack. What's good with it, bro? Would y'all agree? All you have to do is just not be Biden, and as far as it goes for the election, you're good. That's it. All you got to do is just not be Biden.
Trump's favorability is 44.3%. Compare that with Biden's favorability at 42.4%. It's a nearly 2 percentage point lead, and it matches the national poll where Trump is leading Biden by about 2 percentage points. So what do you think? Trump has a better favorability rating than Biden. Does that surprise you? Does it not? Why is that happening? Let me know in the comments sections down below. And be sure to check out the latest polling numbers from the Decision Desk HQ at elections2024.thehill.com, your source for everything 2024.
All right, so there's that. So for the most part, that explains why the Democrats running around like dogs with rabies, trying to hurry up and get Trump off the ballot in all these states, because they know how bad it is out here for Joe Biden. And honestly, I don't think that the Democrats are smart enough to just remove Joe Biden from the ticket. They're not going to do that. They want Joe Biden to have a second term. And in their stubborn wanting Joe Biden to have a second term, whatever small, minute opportunity that they might have to beat a GOP candidate, I don't think it's going to go very well. It's not going to go very well unless they use quote unquote alternative tactics, and somehow magically at the very last minute, Joe Biden will have gotten a record amount of votes, kind of like what happened in this last election. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says the Michigan Supreme Court on Wednesday rejected an attempt to remove former President Trump from the state's primary ballot under the 14th Amendment's insurrection ban. Now, all of these other states that have tried, because there's other states that have tried this, all right, and we're going to talk about those other states because we already talked about Colorado. You know what I'm saying? So if you guys haven't seen the last stream that I did where we were talking about this, the last stream that we did, we talked about Colorado. A liberal-leaning group had appealed a state's appeal court ruling that concluded, regardless of whether the 14th Amendment disqualifies Trump from holding office, Michigan's Secretary of State lacks the legal authority to remove him from ballot. So I just want y'all to see this. The Democrats, now we're seeing a pattern of behavior, right? This is a pattern of behavior. When the Democrats can't get what they want, or when they're backed into a corner, they're going to use Gestapo. They're going to use Gestapo tactics to try to stop whatever is coming from coming. You know what I'm saying? If y'all agree, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down. And real quick, shout out to Lloyd Sky 9 for kicking it off with the first stream sponsor. Definitely appreciate it. Make sure y'all show him some love. Throw some radiation emoji and some flames in the chat. Lloyd Sky 9 says the Democrats in government are so corrupt and out of touch that the public has started to wake up. Facts. 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 Big facts, bro. And they don't like it. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says the state's highest court, controlled by Democrats, let that lower ruling stand, saying in an unsigned order that it was not persuaded that the questions presented should be reviewed by this court. The decision hands a legal victory for Trump as his lawyers seek to stave off 14th Amendment lawsuits filed across the country aimed at preventing the former president's return to the White House. Yo, that's wild, man. They got this going all throughout the country. Now, listen, check this out. This is what I had said the other day, right? Shout out to DSB. What's good with it, bro? The courts that are not allowing this to hold up, those are liberal courts. Those are liberal courts. So imagine what would happen if, like a situation like Colorado, if this would stretch all the way out and he would end up having to take it to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court is majority conservative judges. This is not going to stand. It's not going to work. This is not going to happen. This is all smoke. You know what I'm saying? But what people should be aware of is that these are the tactics that the Democrats will use. Do people want a Democrat-controlled government that has no conscience about using tactics like this? Shout out to my man DeAndre. What's good with it, bro? The amendment prohibits someone from holding any office under the United States if they engaged in insurrection after taking an oath as an officer of the United States to support the Constitution. Ratified after the Civil War, the provision was originally used to prevent Confederates from returning to federal office, which is hilarious because the entire government is nothing but Confederates. So this is a joke right here. You know what I'm saying? This is a joke. The entire Republican Party, they may as well call that the Confederate Party. They may as well call that the Piggly Wiggly Party, right, Miss Daisy? They may as well call it that. They may as well call it either the Confederate Party. They may as well call it the Rebel Party. They may as well call it the Piggly Wiggly Party, or they may as well call it the Antebellum Party. Would y'all agree? That's what they need to be calling these people. You know what I'm saying? The array of Trump cases citing the January 6, 2021 Capitol riot poses a series of open legal questions, including whether the clause applies to the presidency and whether courts have the authority to disqualify candidates. Trump's team has successfully defended against cases filed in places, including Minnesota, where the state's top court similarly tossed a 14th Amendment challenge last month. Now, how many people knew that Minnesota tried pulling something like this? Shout out to Jay Bird. What's good with it, bro? If y'all knew that Minnesota had tried to pull something like this, give me a thumbs up. If y'all didn't, give me a thumbs down. And real quick, shout out to everybody that's watching. I appreciate y'all wherever y'all watching from. If y'all haven't smashed that like button, please take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys have not subscribed, please make sure you take a moment and subscribe wherever you're watching from. And please make sure that you share the stream to your social media. So now here it says, but in Colorado, the state Supreme Court last week was the first to take the extraordinary step of ordering Trump's name off the ballot. The ruling is temporarily on hold. How many people think that this is going to hold up? They better keep this on hold as long as they can, because if you ask me, the moment this is going to be the quickest overturning of something that we've ever seen in history. This is not going to last. If it hits the Supreme Court, it's not going to last, and it shouldn't last, because if you ask me, for one, it's unconstitutional, and for two, they haven't even gotten through with the trial yet to see what would be the court resolutions for what ended up happening on January 6th. You know what I'm saying? This is just a fear tactic. That's it. The Democrats scared. That's all this is. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says, in a solo dissent in Michigan on Wednesday, Justice Elizabeth Welch wrote it was important for the state court to issue a decision on the merits given the gravity of the legal questions at issue. But she likened the case to Minnesota while drawing a contrast to Colorado. Significantly, Colorado's election laws differ from Michigan's laws in a material way that is directly relevant to why the appellants in this case are not entitled to the relief they seek concerning the presidential primary election in Michigan, Welch wrote. She did a good job of pitting state against state, so she didn't have to make a clear ruling, didn't she? Shout out to her for being manipulative. Welch also noted Wednesday's ruling leaves open the possibility that the plaintiffs could renew their efforts for the general election if Trump becomes the Republican nominee, which polling indicates is very likely. Well, according to what we just listened to, polling as far as likelihood goes, it sounds like it might be likely that he might win this next election. That also sounds extremely likely. That sounds pretty likely. It sounds like there's a high possibility, a high chance that Trump will probably win this next election, unless they find a way to, like I said, miraculously do some interesting things, like the interesting things that happened, and now we got Joe Biden. You know what I'm saying? The Michigan Supreme Court has strongly and rightfully denied desperate Democrat attempts to take the leading candidate in 2024 presidential election, me, off the ballot in the great state of Michigan, Trump wrote on Truth Social. This pathetic gambit to rig the election has failed all across the country, including in states that have historically leaned heavily towards the Democrats. Colorado is the only state to have fallen prey to the scheme. Liberal-leaning nonprofit. Now, look at this. Liberal-leaning. I'm telling you, it's Democrats don't even agree with this. Liberal-leaning nonprofit Free Speech for the People brought the Michigan lawsuit challenging Trump's ballot placement, and the group brought a similar lawsuit in Oregon. The Hill has reached out to the organization for comment. The dispute could soon be headed for the U.S. Supreme Court. Trump has vowed to appeal the Colorado decision, a move that would automatically put the ruling on hold until the justices in Washington resolve the case. Now, if we're talking about the justices that are in Washington already, Clarence Thomas and all them, as far as I'm concerned, it's already resolved. Even if there was a question, right? They're not going to not do something in favor of Trump. They're not going to do that. That's the reason why he put those conservative judges in the Supreme Court, for them to have his back. That's why he positioned those chess pieces the way that he did. You know what I'm saying? Man, bro, them pollings got Joe Biden looking at his underwear saying this.
What kind of shit is that?
You know what I'm saying? All these court cases keep failing. They getting mad as hell. Joe Biden around there having his flashes of sanity. He's sitting in there with Kamala Harris and Chuck Schumer. And then he just gets up in a moment of dementia and says,
"Idiots! I'm surrounded by incompetent idiots!"
Oh, man, it's over for Joe. You know what I'm saying? It's over for Sleepy Joe, man. Somebody open up them nursing home doors and get a damn gurney so we can roll his stupid ass in there. You know what I'm saying? Now, how many of y'all knew that the same thing was going down in South Carolina? What you need to know about the Trump primary ballot lawsuit in South Carolina. Now, why are we talking about this? Is this important? If you ask me, it is important. Why is it important? Because the similar tactics to remove options, if you ask me, are what happened in Chicago, which created a situation where it makes it to where those residents are not able to vote for the sanctuary city status. They removed the option so that you can't do it. And since the option has been removed and you can't do it, everything just continues as planned without the option to create a bottleneck to try to slow it down or stop it. That's what the Democrats are doing right now. Trump is a big obstacle for either Joe Biden or another Democrat to get into the presidential office next election. What are they trying to do? They're trying to remove that option. They're trying to remove that option because they know that option could and probably is currently a bottleneck that's going to make it more difficult. So they're trying to lay a clean path to be able to do whatever it is that they want to, and whatever means that it takes, regardless if the means are ethical, regardless if the means are violating laws, whatever they can do, they're going to do it. So here's my question. If they would do this to President Trump, who else would they, or if they would do this to former President Trump, who else would they do this to? You already know the answer to that. We've seen it. That's what's going down in Chicago. You know what I'm saying? What you need to know about the Trump primary ballot lawsuit in South Carolina. So they're doing this in South Carolina too. In September, a long shot Republican presidential candidate from Texas, John Anthony Castro, sued the South Carolina Election Commission and former President Donald Trump in federal court in Columbia, alleging his role in sparking the January 6th Capitol riot made him ineligible for the state's February 24th GOP presidential primary ballot. So now I want y'all to pay very close attention, right? Because these people are liars. Now, if you listen to YouTube content creators and YouTube commentators, shout out to my man James Hudson. What's good with it, bro? They'll sit there and tell you that this is the cancel mob. And y'all all know what the cancel mob is code for. What's the cancel mob code for? They'll sit there and say, oh, the cancel mob is canceling everybody. The liberal cancel mob. Ow, ow. Right? Nah, B. Not so fast, B. A long shot Republican presidential candidate from Texas, John Anthony Castro, sued the South Carolina Election Commission to get former President Donald Trump canceled from the South Carolina ballot. One of their own good old boys did it. And it's always one of their own good old boys did it. They so damn shameful. It's part of their culture that they can't even admit when they fighting against each other. It'll be two of them fighting against each other, and you walk down the street and they'll both stop fighting and point at you and say that you attacked both of them. That's how they get down. I've been doing this since I didn't have no subscribers on the channel. Talking about how they getting outraged about these diversity and inclusion efforts that nobody black even asked for. You know what I'm saying? Don't nobody ask for this shit. Other white people create this shit, and then they get mad, and because they're so shameful and being a chameleon is part of the culture, then they turn around and use a black person as the thumbnail for all their videos or something like that. That happens all the time. So that's when I got on the track of I had to debunk a lot of this nonsense. This is why, how many of y'all have heard of corporate anti-racism initiatives. If y'all have ever heard of corporate anti-racism initiatives, give me a thumbs up. If y'all haven't, then give me a thumbs down. And also, real quick, ladies and gentlemen, please make sure you guys show some love to Dora Malahi for the $10 super chat. Definitely appreciate it. Second stream sponsor. Throw some flames and some radiation emoji in the chat for her. Trump is crazy as cat shit, but dude ain't stupid. Facts. I agree 100%. I do not disagree with that. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the things I like about being able to do content on Trump, because I can talk as much shit about this Looney Tune as I want to and be right. And then when he does a couple things right, I can talk about that shit and still be right. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my man U-Law. What's good with it, bro? So now here it says Castro argued Trump violated Section 3 of the U.S. Constitution's 14th Amendment for leading an insurrection. Now, this was interesting, right? They're using the Constitution to attempt to supersede his due process for going through the court hearings about this. Ain't that crazy? They do that all the time. Facts. You know what else they coming up with? Racks. Listen, people of color, those people of color, like Nimrata Ranhawa, you know what I'm saying? They're the ones that are teaching all of those corporate diversity and inclusion programs, making racks on racks on racks. You know what I'm saying? That was, if I'm not mistaken, like the 5th highest paid corporate position in 2020, if I'm not mistaken. The diversity and inclusion initiatives in corporate America. You would think they would have like a black person doing it. It's somebody looking like Vivek Ramaswamy coming from behind the curtain. They make money selling the plight, and then once they get money, they deny it. This is one of the reasons why we got to cut all that out. We got to cut all of them out. We got to smash that stuff. We got to stomp it out. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a hustle. It's a hustle. Now, y'all know that I changed that Black Light Revelations news, reviews, and reactions channel to undocumented, right? Shout out to Dre D. What's good with it, bro? But you can still watch the old videos by using the playlist feature. If you go to the playlist feature on the homepage of the channel, and all the videos are still visible. They're just on unlisted so that I can update and put new content, and the new content is easier for people to see. But y'all can still watch the videos. Watch the playlist that's called Diversionary Social Justice. And if y'all look at Just Talking with TD and Rob, the playlist from before we made the channel on TD Hip Hop Media's channel, watch the live stream that's called Diversionary Social Justice. We talk about that at great length. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a hustle, man. They using this to get money, and it's not helping anybody, because the people that they talking to about those positions, they don't even need. If you go to corporate America, I ain't even trying to be funny, but they don't even need to talk about racism, because it's not hardly any other races around. The only racism they need to talk about is issues that they have with people of color. It's not a lot of black people in corporate America. And if you're a black person and you're in corporate America, it's either one of two things. You're a COON, you know what I'm saying? Or you solid, and you already know what time it is, so you navigating appropriately, getting your money and bouncing. There's no in between. You either the realest or the fakest if you're in corporate America. But regardless the case, you by yourself out there, because it's not a lot of us in corporate America. For real. You know what I'm saying? I've been in corporate America before. I worked in an office where there was a ton of cubicles, and we had like 16 supervisors, and we each had a team. It was all white people and me. You know what I'm saying? It just was what it was. You know what I'm saying? It was just all white people and me. So you don't even need to have no diversity and inclusion type any diversity and inclusion type lessons in corporate America, because you're not coming in contact with a diverse group of people. Now you're coming in contact with a diverse group of people if you're talking about immigrants, Asians, you know what I'm saying? But you know how white people and Asians love each other. They got that little love affair thing going on. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, they hate each other one moment, but then they big up in each other the next. So that's not reliable. You know what I'm saying? But beside that, you don't really see much. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Shout out to Hurricane IQ. Doing what I need to do and getting the F out. Facts. That's what I used to do. And then I just got tired of the whole thing. I was like, man, I got to go, man. I can't deal with this. They go into the lunch rest. Listen, y'all know, man, I like to turn up. I like to turn up. You don't take me to no meeting, no corporate meeting in the middle of the day, and we go in some place where there's a bar and I'm not able to drink, because all that's going to do is make me mad. You know what I'm saying? We would go have these little lunches. You know what I'm saying? And we would go to some place where they, you know, serving some decent food and they got a nice little bar. I'm like, yo, okay, it's time to turn up. You know what I'm saying? I want to grab a little drink here. You know what I'm saying? Throw a little something on the karaoke machine. I'm about to get it popping. My little private party over here in the booth right here. You know what I'm saying? And nah, they talking about club soda and shit. Nah, man, I can't do that. I can't do that. I can't do that, man. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, it is what it is. You got to know yourself. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Caldona and shout out to Still Kevin Trees. What's good with y'all? You know what I'm saying? You just got to know yourself. You know what I'm saying? But they don't need those diversity and inclusion coaches and people in corporate America, though. They don't, for real. They had them at the airlines, people getting all mad. If you go back and watch a couple videos from like 2 years ago, they had them at Coca-Cola. People was getting all mad. White people was feeling all abused. They're abusing us. You know what I'm saying? No, you're not getting abused. You're not getting abused because somebody told you not to be racist. That's not abuse. Racism and abusing people in a racist way, that's actually the abuse. Speaking of which, if I get time, once we get done with this one, in about an hour, I'm going to try to do another live stream because I want to tell y'all about the nonsense that they got going on in Missouri. Shout out to my man, Steve Alhala. I got a question for you, bro. Did you hear what they just did in Missouri? How many of y'all heard what they just did in Missouri? If y'all heard, give me a thumbs up. If y'all didn't, give me a thumbs down. Sound like Black Spider know what they just did. We know what you did in Missouri. You know what I'm saying? We know what y'all did in Missouri, you know? So now here it says Castro has filed more than 20 other similar lawsuits across the country. Federal judges in 4 states have dismissed the lawsuits. None have succeeded. So here's the thing, right? All of these lawsuits, the more these cases keep getting knocked down, the more consistent precedent that they're going to set. And then what they're going to start doing is they're just going to start looking back at each one of these cases and being like, well, this is what this state did. This is what that state did. This is what that state did. This is what that state did. We're going to follow the precedent. So now there's all these precedents of them not being able to get him removed. So the more that these things keep getting struck down, the more difficult it's going to be for them to try to make some type of justification to the judges for them to take him off the ballot. As long, you know what I'm saying? If they want to do this, they got to try another tactic. So now here it says, here are the 5 key questions to understand the case. What is Section 3 of the 14th Amendment? That's my question. What is the Section 3 of the 14th Amendment? You know what's crazy? Literally everybody has utilized the 14th Amendment to make their life better. And the 14th Amendment was actually meant to help Black people coming out of slavery. And 14th Amendment has actually harmed us in the way that diversity and inclusion is weaponized against us. Ain't that ironic? It's ironic, but also planned. You know what I'm saying? You may remember the 14th Amendment from high school civics, creating birthright citizenship. Now, mind you, remember, while they talking about Vivek Ramaswamy, this is something that Vivek Ramaswamy is against. Vivek Ramaswamy is against this. And its equal protection clause, which gives all Americans equal protection under the law, which, again, the 14th Amendment is the same as a restraining order. A restraining order is not bulletproof. It's not corrupt cop proof either. It's not corrupt person in the population proof either. It's just something that's in words. And half the time they get a jury that's not of your peers to interpret these laws and come up with some type of babble to be able to circumvent the laws and still not give you the ruling that you need to make yourself whole in whatever situation you might have found yourself in. You know what I'm saying? But that's just section 1. The amendment was passed in the aftermath of the Civil War, with section 3 aimed at preventing former Confederates from seeking office, and then you get George Bush in office, George Bush, you know what I'm saying, Jr. and all these people. But they said it's to keep Confederates out of the office, whatever. It reads, no person shall hold any office, civil or military, under the United States who has previously taken an oath as an officer of the United States to support the Constitution of the United States shall have engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the same or given aid to comfort the enemies thereof. You know what I'm saying? So let's see what this little video here is talking about. Like button, please take a moment.
Hadestown is the Tony and Grammy-winning best musical. It's an epic celebration.
Make sure y'all hit the bell. I was about to say they really want to abuse people, man. They won't even let you pause this horrible sounding shit. Good Lord. All right, here we go. Hold on real quick. Oh, and of course they got copywritten music. I'm telling you, man, these articles are terrible these days. How does that potentially apply to Trump? Echoing some legal scholars, Castro, in his South Carolina lawsuit, argues Trump incited an insurrection in the lead up to the January 6th of 2021 Capitol riot, and then provided aid and comfort to some of those convicted of perpetrating it afterwards. Therefore, Castro argues Trump violated the 14th Amendment and should be kicked off the Republican primary ballot. Now, again, remember, this is a Republican that brought this lawsuit. This is a Republican who brought this lawsuit. It was not a Democrat. So when they get mad and they start saying that nonsense about Orange Man bad, and you know what I'm saying, they try to start throwing out little dog whistles, you know what I'm saying? Just make sure you be like, oh, you mean that Republican that did it? Him? That's what you talking about? That's what y'all mean? A 4-3 majority of the Colorado Supreme Court agreed that argument in its December 19th decision that stunned the political world and barred Trump from the ballot in that state. Is the South Carolina 14th Amendment lawsuit likely to succeed? I want to ask you guys this question before we read this paragraph. Do you all think that this is likely to succeed? If you think that it is, then give me the thumbs up. If you guys do not think that is likely to succeed, give me a thumbs down. And shout out to everybody that's watching. I appreciate everybody that's in here. If you guys have not hit that like button yet, please take a moment, hit that like button. Also, if you guys have not hit the bell, please take a moment, hit the bell, and also make sure that you share the stream to your social media. Only U.S. District Judge Mary Geiger Lewis, an Obama appointee who will make the call, knows that. Reviews elsewhere have been against Castro. And this is what I was saying about that precedent. This is not looking good for them to be able to use this as a tactic because it keeps getting shut down every time they try it. Shout out to DeAndre for being a like enforcer. Appreciate it, bro. It's getting shut down all over the place. 4 federal judges, 2 appointed by Democrats and 2 appointed by Republicans, have dismissed Castro's lawsuits in New Hampshire, Arizona, Florida, and Rhode Island because they said Castro lacked standing. So what Castro is actually doing is Castro is racking up lots of precedent against what he wants to do. The more these cases keep getting tossed out, the more when he brings it to new states, they're going to look at what happened in the other states, and then they're going to say, you know what? This is how it went down in these states, and we have similar laws. The answer is no. Take it to the Court of Appeals. That's what's going to happen. Plaintiffs in lawsuits must show that they are being harmed by the actions they allege are unconstitutional. Castro has argued that he is harmed by Trump being on the ballot in South Carolina because it will cause him to lose votes to Trump. Man, that's so damn weak. This dude Castro is pathetic. I'm sorry. I don't want him on the ballot because y'all might mess around and lose some votes to him. Are you serious?
What kind of shit is that?
Are you serious? Right. Facts. Petty as hell. Exactly, New York state of mind. He's setting the precedent. It's like he's trying to make a layup and keep getting stuffed every single time he go to the basket. Every time is getting swatted. He got the ball right on his fingertips, about to lay it up. Here come the center coming across the way, just across the baseline. Bam, knocking it down. Bam, knocking it down. Bam, knocking it down each time. Brick, facts, brick. You know what I'm saying? 4 federal judges have all found that Castro isn't a serious candidate. He's not campaigning. He's received few donations. And he said in the New Hampshire lawsuit that the goal of his campaign is to disqualify Trump. So this idiot said all of this stuff and also is not even a viable candidate and is taking this to court using himself as the basis of the lawsuit, but you know that you ain't a damn viable candidate. I'm going to go as far as to say Mr. Castro is not wrapped too tight. I bet y'all just got some gifts under your Christmas tree that was wrapped tighter than this idiot Castro. Even if Trump were kicked off the ballot, Castro wouldn't win many votes, so he isn't really being harmed, and thus he doesn't have the standing to sue, the judges found. That is corny. In the South Carolina case, federal magistrate Judge Shiva Hodges reviewed Castro's claim and came to the same conclusion. He's not a serious candidate, so he doesn't have a standing. So imagine grandstanding on this attempt to get Trump removed. And the reason why you can't get it done is because you're a loser. Man. Listen, man. I'm going to let Blade tell y'all about Castro.
Some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill.
Appreciate you, Blade. I couldn't have said it better myself. I couldn't have said it better myself. That's exactly what your boy Castro is trying to do. He trying to ice skate uphill. She recommended Judge Geiger Lewis dismiss the 14th Amendment claim. The Colorado case was different because it was brought on behalf of several Colorado voters who have a stronger case for standing than Castro. Now, see, if Castro wasn't grandiose his damn self, he would have seen how they went about it in Colorado and got a group of voters to file a petition and then use that petition as the basis of his lawsuit. But he's not smart, so he didn't do it. Expecting dumb people to do smart stuff is like sitting there waiting for a dog to meow and sitting there waiting for a cat to bark. Have y'all ever done that? Have you ever just sat in front of your dog and said, I'm waiting for you to meow now? It's never going to happen. Sit in front of your cat and wait for it to bark. Go ahead. I'll give you a treat. Let me shake the bag. Go ahead and bark. Never going to happen. Expecting an idiot to be smart is the same thing. You know what I'm saying? It's the exact same thing. That's up to Geiger Lewis. But the South Carolina Election Commission must send Republican primary ballots to military and overseas voters on January 10th. If Trump is booted from the ballot, they need to know before then so that the ballots accurately reflect the state's lineup. If the U.S. Supreme Court weighs in on the case before Geiger Lewis, that would render the South Carolina case basically moot. Colorado must begin printing its GOP primary ballots on January 4th so that could happen. What are the arguments against disqualifying Trump under the 14th Amendment? Trump's attorneys have made several arguments. The 14th Amendment doesn't apply to presidents because they're not specifically listed in the text like members of Congress are. Trump's actions on January 6th did not meet the legal definition of engaging, aiding, or comforting an insurrection. Congress needs to pass enabling legislation calling January 6th an insurrection and laying out enforcement of the amendment. Disqualification is non-justable, meaning it's a political question that unelected judges should not decide. Some legal scholars and 3 of the justices in Colorado believe that some of those arguments are quite strong. Now, let me ask you guys a question. Did you all feel that any of those arguments were strong? And if you did feel that some of them arguments were strong, which one did you feel was the strongest? Trump's South Carolina attorneys made most of those arguments in court filings here, but Geiger Lewis might not address them. The magistrate did not. If she finds Castro didn't have standing, then there's no need to weigh in. All right. So we'll probably be talking about this more and more and more as these cases go through, because as you guys know, and we talked about before, they try to kick Trump off the ballot in California. I don't think that it stood though. Let me see. And I don't think this is going to stand anywhere. Even if the states try to get this to stick, the Supreme Court is going to come through and knock it down. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. The only way that it'll work is if they try to use that same method that Colorado used. And even if they use that method that Colorado used, it still may not work, because then it will be up to the interpretation of a conservative Supreme Court justice. And the conservative Supreme Court justices are not going to do anything that is not favorable to Trump. We all know this. You know what I'm saying? So, ladies and gentlemen, players and pimps, I appreciate each and every one of you guys for being here. I'm going to try to get this other stream set up. It's going to be on BLR1. So if y'all not subscribed to BLR1, make sure y'all subscribe. Also, make sure that you watch this one all the way through to the end. It'll take you to tonight's undocumented stream. I want to give a shout out to the stream sponsors. I definitely appreciate you all. Shout out to Lloyd Scott 9 with the $5 super chat. Make sure y'all show him some love. Throw some radiation emoji in the chat and some flames for him. Shout out to Dora Malahi with the $10 super chat. Definitely appreciate that, Dora. Make sure you guys show her some love. Throw some radiation emoji in the chat for her as well. And as always, ladies and gentlemen,
walk up in the life. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him. Hold up. Look, walking this bitch like, hey. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like, hey. I'm really him. Don't believe me? Come and see me. Got 3 wishes from my genie. Now I'm on your local TV. Y'all on tour. Got demons. Say she wanna come and see me when I'm in a local city. I'm like, pause though. Please step aside so they can see me. And I walk up in this light. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him. On God. Walk up in this light. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him. I'm the realest from my city. That's on my knee, that's on Kiwi, that's on mamas. Niggas don't believe me, come and see me. I been dodging all that face. All these niggas working broke, but I been getting paid. All that know me from the street. Flexing for a feature, that's like every other week. Talk behind my back, I kick my feet up, have a seat. Cause at the end of the day, all these watching me as I walk up in this light. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him. On God. Walk up in this light. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him on God. Walk up in the like, yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him. Hold up, look, walking this bitch like, hey, yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like, hey, I'm really him.